I believe the average age in this Senate must be over 40. And so we don't have excuse for youthful exuberance. So when we are making a law, we should accommodate divergent views. That way, what one person forgot, the other person will remember. The way we rush the rules, because certain people wanted certain things concluded, is what led to this error. That is just the point I want to make. That next time we should allow debate. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I just felt I needed to raise this point of order. And we were all in this chamber yesterday, and we saw the kind of drama that went on, even though it was totally unnecessary. But the unfortunate thing about that drama was that regardless of what was done in this hallowed chamber yesterday, what became the news out of this hallowed chamber was that unnecessary drama. And we are not going to allow this to continue. For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. President, I'm rising on Order 52-6 on rules of debate. It simply says, Mr. President, that it shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the Senate has come to a conclusion during the current session, except upon a substantive motion for decision. So, if His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole, CON, had any problem with the decisions that were taken with respect to the amendment 2 days ago, what he was expected to do was to bring a substantive motion for decision to be debated on the floor of this parliament. We cannot allow this kind of drama to go on every time on the floor of this Senate. We must put a stop to it. As the leader of this Senate, I had an issue with what was passed. We discussed it at the leadership level, and I was encouraged to bring a motion for decision, which we just considered. Senator Oshiomhole could have done that regarding any other aspect of this amendment if he had problem with it. This drama must stop, because it's not helping us, it's not helping the image of this institution. This is the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you. Adam Oshiomhole, if you have any problem, you can come through substantive motion. So your order is sustained. Leader of the Senate.
Senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The second order of the day is a motion standing in the name of the leader of the Senate on the rescission and recommittal of the National Identity Management Commission Establishment Bill 2026 to the Committee of the Whole. Mr. President, with your permission, I wish to move the motion.
You may proceed.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, rescission and recommittal of the National Identity Management Commission Establishment Bill 2026 to the Committee of the Whole. The Senate recalls that the National Identity Management Commission Establishment Bill 2026 was duly considered and passed by the National Assembly and subsequently transmitted to Mr. President for assent. The Senate is informed that upon a detailed post-passage review by the Federal Ministry of Justice, certain fundamental drafting and substantive issues were identified in the long title and specific provisions of the bill, particularly clauses 46, 8J, 33 to 40, and the explanatory memorandum, which require further legislative refinement. Senate notes that the identified issues include the need to clarify the scope and intent of the long title to align with current policy objectives on national identity management, the refinement of Clause 4 to clearly define the qualifications, appointment, and responsibilities of commissioners, the correction of Clause 8 to properly vest the authority for determining staff conditions of service subject to board approval, and the redrafting of clauses 35 to 40 to ensure legal supremacy of the Act in matters relating to identity registration and database management, while maintaining harmony with existing laws. Senate is aware that a technical committee comprised of members of the Senate, the House of Representatives, and legal drafting experts from the Directorate of Legal Services of the National Assembly was constituted to critically review and resolve the issues identified in the bill. Senate is also aware that the committee has recommended specific amendments to address the observed inconsistencies and strengthen the legal and institutional framework for national identity management in Nigeria. And Senate relying on Orders 1B and 52.6 of the Senate Standing Orders as amended, which empower the Senate to rescind a previous decision and recommit a bill for reconsideration. Accordingly resolves to 1. Rescind its earlier decision on the National Identity Management Commission Establishment Bill 2026 as previously passed, and 2. Recommit the bill to the Committee of the Whole for comprehensive consideration, taking into account the proposed amendments to the long title and clauses 46, 8J, 35 to 40, and the explanatory memorandum for passage thereafter. Mr. President, I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion for the recommittal, the rescission and recommittal of the National Identity Card Management Bill as amended. I so second.